And we found this. It was shot by a network cameraman covering the president's trip to the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh this week. The protester screaming at the president happens to be a Presbyterian minister. Watch.
It's not about you! Let the families grieve. This is our neighborhood. You are not welcome here. You don't belong here. This is our neighborhood. We welcome everybody here.
You're not welcome here. We welcome everybody. Well, that's pretty much the whole Democratic message right there. Will it work? Maybe on Tuesday, maybe for a little while. Angela Merkel tried it in Germany. So did the people who until recently ran Brazil. But ultimately, their countries rejected that message. Voters want you to care about them. It's their country. And they'll know it if you don't care about them. And in the end, they will punish you for that. They always do. Author and columnist Mark Steyn joins us tonight. You are not welcome here. We welcome everybody. It's almost like a haiku, and yet it does kind of explain the worldview.
Yes, and they're not aware of the contradiction. You said that these guys despise Trump, and that's true. Yes. But what they don't seem to realize is that despising Trump elides very quickly into despising tens of millions of your fellow Americans.
Exactly.
And I think people understand that that actually isn't the kind of country they want to move into. What a lot of these people seem to enjoy is the frisson of civil war on the cheap, as it were. In other words, you can divide yourself into warring tribes without actually having war, without actually torching and burning each other's villages. And they get a kick out of it. It's a sign of decadence, because normal politics, which are boring policy differences and not terribly exciting, are insufficient to them these days. So they want to have this kind of frisson that they're somehow living some epic primal life by yelling at the president from the streets in what is supposed to be some kind of dignified remembrance of 11 dead people. She should be ashamed of herself, that woman.
But she's not, and I think the senior warden at her church basically blamed everybody else but her. But I wonder if this kind of politics works. I mean, look, I don't think there's anything wrong with not liking a politician, even despising a politician. I've certainly felt that way. But when you say out loud that you hate his voters and you hate, almost half the country, and you prefer people from other countries, in the end, I don't think that works as a political message, does it?
No, I think that's how Trump became president, because there are tens of millions of just ordinary people who would switch on the TV during 2015, and they would see people not talking about anything that matters to them. Democrats were talking about fashionable niche constituencies that ordinary, boring white people in towns where the mills and factories had closed had barely heard of. And they couldn't understand why barely detectable demographics, like fine with gays, fine with transgenders, then we get to intersexuals. Most people have never even met an intersexual, questioning. They don't know what it is. They don't understand why these people matter, and tens of millions of ordinary Americans don't matter. They don't understand why foreigners who simply want to walk into your country have more rights than people who were born here and have been citizens of the United States all their life. That's how Trump came along. And Don Lemon and people don't realize that that they're partly responsible for Trump. Yeah. And so when he starts talking about white men being terrorists, the distinguishing feature of a terrorist is not that he's a white man. That's actually demonizing, as you say, half the country. But Don Lemon, they don't seem to have learned the lessons of the last 2 years. If you want more Trump, this is how you get more Trump.
Voters want leaders to behave as parents do with a family. You love your children. You don't love your stepchildren more. And if your kids know that you hate them, they're going to punish you in the end, I think. Anyway, thank you very much, Mark Steyn. Very wise.
Thanks a lot, Tucker. Thank you.
Great to see you. Well, projection is, of course,